In this video, we're going to go over vocabulary review as well as some new terms. We're also going to review what collecting like terms means. This is a list of vocabulary words we learned in Unit 4. Please make sure you remember these as we are going to use them in this unit as well. Our new word is polynomial. Poly refers to many, and nomial refers to the number of terms in an expression. So polynomial is an expression that has two or more terms. You will need to know three specific types of polynomials: the monomial, the binomial, and the trinomial. So the first part of the word refers to how many terms there are in the polynomial. So mono means one, bi means two, and tri means three. So an example of a monomial is an expression that only has one term. So it could be something like 2x or 4y cubed. Those are monomials, one term. When we're talking about binomials, we're talking about two terms. So this could be 3a squared plus b. Here, there are two terms, so this is a binomial. I could also say 4x minus 2y. This is also a binomial, again, two terms. And similarly with trinomial. Trinomial means I have an expression that has three terms. So it could be 5a plus 6b minus 3c. Here are three terms, so this is a trinomial. There are other polynomials, of course, and you can look up the Latin names for the beginnings, but I only need you to know for sure these three types. In example 1, we are given a polynomial and asked to find certain characteristics. Part 1 asks us to find how many terms are there in this polynomial. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 terms in this polynomial. The next, it asks how many variables are there and what are they? So remember, variables are different letters that represent numbers that we don't know. So how many different letters do we see? There's an X, there's a Y, and an X again, and the 10 doesn't have any letters. So that means that there are 2 variables here. What are they? There's an X and there's a Y. Next, we're asked to see how many coefficients do we have, and again, what are they? Coefficients is the number in front of a letter. So I have 1 number in front of a letter, 2 number in front of a letter, and 3. Again, the 10 does not have a letter next to it, so it is not a coefficient. So how many coefficients are there? There are 3. What are they? Positive 4, negative 3, and positive 18. Lastly, it's asking us what is the constant, a number with no letter. We are left with that back number there. The constant is 10. Example 2 asks us the same set of questions, but now we have a different polynomial. So how many terms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many variables are there? So I'm looking for unique letters. I see an X, I see a Y, an XY, I already have those, and I have an A. So there are 3 variables, X, Y, and A. Next, we're looking for coefficients. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 coefficients. Positive 5, negative 3, positive 4, and positive 8. And lastly, what is my constant? A number with no letters. My constant is negative 22. In example 3, we're asked to simplify the polynomial by collecting like terms. Now, a key point that we haven't talked about before is when we are collecting like terms, it is important to write our final answer in the correct order. It always has to be in alphabetical order starting with the term that has the highest exponent. So you'll see that some of our terms have variables, some of them are constants, and some of them have an exponent. So it'll be really important to pay attention to our order. Let's start by collecting like terms that we know. My first term is a 3x, so I'm looking for any other term that has just an x in it. I see that my other term is this right here. So 3x plus a negative x is going to give me 2x. Next, I'm looking for a term that is just a number, so a constant. I have a 4 here, and I have an 8 here. They're both positive. When I put them together, that's going to give me positive 12. Then my next term is an x squared term, so I'm looking for something else that has an x squared. There it is. So negative 2x squared plus 3x squared is going to give me a positive 1x squared, or just x squared. Now that I've simplified it, I need to write it in the right order. I don't have to worry about alphabetical order because there's just one letter here. So I need to put the highest exponent first, and anything that's a constant goes last. So highest exponent is this term right here. So x squared should be my first one. Then I'm going to write 2x, right? Because 2x has an exponent of positive 1. And my constant goes last, plus 12. This is my final answer. So first, we collect like terms, and then we pay attention to the order in which we write our terms. Always do alphabetical order, starting with the term that has the highest exponent, and constants go last. Example 4 is asking us to do exactly the same thing. So let's get started. I have a 3x squared, looking for anything else that has an x squared. There it is. 3x squared plus 5x squared gives me an 8x squared. Next, I'm looking for terms that just have an x. Here it is. So positive 5x plus negative 2x is going to leave me with positive 3x. And then I'm looking for a term that is just a constant. And there it is. Putting those together gives me negative 45. Before I circle this as my final answer, I check that it's in alphabetical order. In this case, we just have one letter, so it's fine. The highest exponent is first, and the constant is last, so I'm good to go. That is my final answer. In example 5, again, we're asked to simplify by collecting like terms. You'll notice in this example we have brackets. So something to remember from Unit 4 is when we have brackets, we have to make sure that we are distributing first. In front of the first bracket, there's nothing there. So really, I don't need those first set of brackets. This is just 3x squared plus 4x. In front of the second set of brackets, I have a negative. I need to distribute this negative in order to get rid of the second set of brackets. Negative times negative 2x squared is going to give me a positive 2x squared. Negative times a positive 5 is going to give me a negative 5. Now that I have gotten rid of my brackets, so I've distributed, I then go on to collecting like terms. I group my x squared terms together. I keep my x terms together. In this case, there's just one. And I keep my constant terms together. Again, in this case, I just have one constant. I'm going to do two steps at once. I'm going to rewrite this in the correct order and collect the like terms at the same time. So highest exponent is an x squared. I have a 3 and a positive 2. So this is 5x squared, then my 4x, then negative 5. This is now the correct order and simplified. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the next video.